Hello everyone. So today I'm gonna start a series of small tutorials around Unreal Engine. A lot of this stuff has already been done. There's a bunch of tutorials out there doing this kind of stuff. I'm just gonna do these things the way I think they should be, of course. Let's start this one with an health system, so we can basically add health to any actors in a game. I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible, just so you don't need to actually do anything special on the object that you want to have health, and consequently have a death state and all that. I'll try to keep it really simple. So all of this can be done in C++. If there's any interest, I can do another version in C++. This one I'll do in blueprints because blueprints are really they're amazing for prototyping stuff, and they're not really good for production stuff. So what one good setup that you could do when you're developing your own games is you start with a blueprint, you prototype something really fast, you see that it works, and then you basically implement it in C++, which is going to be much faster to run when you actually release your game. So let's start this one, the health system, or the health. It's going to be an health component probably. I'm going to do a new project, blueprint, third person. I'm going to go with third person template. I'm going to delete everything. I'm not going to use any start content. I'm just going to name it tutorial 1 underscore health. So I'm going to create. And we're going to have to wait a little bit. I don't know why Unreal starts up VR by default. I feel this should be an option. Be disabled by default. It's a pain in the ass to always have to do disabling this, but anyways. So the third person template starts with this fantastic map, and if we hit play, we immediately get a character that we can move around with. I'm just gonna get rid of all of this in the map because I don't really care about it. I will probably start the next tutorials with a blank slate already. Just gonna do like build lighting, so it gets rid of all these dark spots, which is a precompiled lighting. So first things first, we probably need some kind of way to figure out or to simulate a certain object or character or whatever to get hit by some kind of weapon. So I'm gonna use a standard line trace to get whatever object I'm pointing at, or when I click on it. To start with, I'll just go to project settings and set up an input for the shooting action. Let's just name this shoot. And let's assign it the left mouse button. That's it. So whenever we hit the left mouse button, it will trigger the shoot costume event. So let's open the third person character. And let me just move this out of the way. And let's just go to the event graph. Let's go. I have this way too tiny because I was getting a screenshot previously. So we already have some stuff that this character can do. Let's add here the shoot event. Let's start with that. So whenever we press the left mouse button, this is gonna happen. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do a line trace by channel. This can be done in a variety of ways. You can define costume channels just so you hit only certain objects. I'm just going to do cameras, so wherever the camera sees can be potentially traced, and this is going to basically draw a line from the start point to the end point and give out whatever was the first object that it hit while it was following that line from start to end. You can ignore some actors, you can do some other things, and you can do like a debug for the duration, like let's put 2 seconds, and this is going to actually draw the trace while you are playing, which is pretty cool for debugging purposes. So we just need to know where the line is going to start and where the line is going to end. So we try to intercept whatever objects are in line. So I'm just going to do get actor location. This will give me the location of our character. And then what I'm going to do is, this will probably give me the ground location if we look at the viewport, well, or the middle, the waist, around the waist probably. What I want to do here is I want to add the height of the eyes of the character. So I shoot the line from his head or from his eyes. So I'm just going to do split destruct pin, and I'm going to create a new vector, and it's going to be entirely the same except for this one, which I'm going to add the eye get base height, and I'm going to do a plus on this, so float plus float, add them together, and this is our Z component, basically our height. So this is the start point for the trace. Now for the end point, I want to make the end point basically this point plus a certain direction and distance. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to get the camera, then I'm going to get the forward vector of the camera, which is going to basically tell me the direction in which the camera is pointing, which is going to be the center of the screen. I'm going to multiply this vector times float. I'm going to do 10 meters, and then I am going to add this, so vector plus vector, just gonna swap these, and I'm gonna add this to our starting point, and this is gonna be our end point for the trace. So now if I save and if I compile, and I don't know why this doesn't save, and I play and I click, I have a trace. So from the head until where the camera was looking. And it's pretty cool because it shows you like this fantastic line and actually the hit point where the trace is hitting. So that's all good. We have a way to figure out which object we are hitting, basically. So now what I want to do is maybe create our health component. And the way I'm going to do it is I am going to set another third-person character here on the map. This is going to be our target, basically. And I'm going back to the third-person controller, and I'm going to do, or character, sorry. I'm going to do add component. So new blueprint script component. Again, this could be done in C++. I'm just going to do it in Blueprint for simplicity, but it's super easy to do in C++ as well. I'm going to create an actor component. I'm going to call it health component. I'm going to put it under blueprints. And what do we want this component to do? Well, I can think of one function at least, take damage, which will be called whenever the owner of this component takes some damage, and we want to basically use this to control the amount of health that he has. Let's get an input in there, let's say amount, and make it a boolean. And we also need some variables. So we need the current health that our owner has, which is going to be a boolean. And let's make it 100, as we do. Then we have a max health, which is going to be the maximum amount of health that this object can have at any time. Let's say the maximum is also 100. And in our take damage function, what we want to do is, well, first of all, we want to update our current health. So we're going to do set health, and we're going to take from the current health, we're going to take that amount. So let's do minus float, and we take that amount from the current health, and that's the new current health. So that's that. Now we want to do a check, because it might be that taking this amount of damage actually puts us beneath 0, which is not a valid health. So let's do a branch here, and we gotta say if this health is less or equal than 0, this means that it has become negative, and then what we're gonna do is just basically set it to 0. We also want to make sure that we kill this owner in a way. So let's create a variable called died, and let's make it a boolean, and this basically represents whether our character is, or our object is, dead or alive. So in this case we just got beneath 0, so let's set our owner as dead. Let's make it like this, and now whether he lives or dies, I'm just gonna do a print string, which is gonna print a nice debug string to the window. And let's say we do an append, and we say object space, let's get our owner of the component and its name. So object X has taken that pin. Let's get the amount of damage from here and move this to make it a bit prettier. And has taken of damage new. Let me zoom this. Health is now, and we put our current health. Let's get it from here just to make it a bit cleaner. So when this happens, we just do a print string with this, and we make a duration of 2 to match the trace. So in principle, we should be set to start taking damage. The only thing missing is we actually try to take damage from the actor that has been hit. And to do this, we go to the out hit, which is going to have the hit information. And we can do a split struct. This is going to show a bunch of stuff. The only things we're interested here, well, we could be interested in a lot of things here, like the hit impact point, to know exactly where the actor was hit, and maybe take more or less damage depending on the area of the body. Let's say if it's a character where it was hit, if it's a headshot, it will probably take more damage and all that. But for now, we're actually just interested in the hit actor. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to do a get component by class, and we're going to see if this actor has a health component. And in order to make sure that it does, we do a valid check, is valid, which is basically a branch. And if this is true, it means that this actor that we hit actually has a health component. And in that case, this already returns as the component. So what we're going to do is take damage on that component if it's valid. And let's say we take 10 damage out of it. And in principle, we should be able to hit our character. So let's see. I point at this guy, so I point at the wall, I do this trace, I point at the guy, I hit him, and nothing happens. So let's see, why not? So let's try to debug this. I actually want to see. I actually want to see, so take damage on the health component. The health component, could it be that I didn't save this? No. So let's put a little bit of debug here. Let's say we actually print the guy that we hit. So let's do this and get display name and print the name of the object we hit. So we are hitting stuff. I'm getting these. I'm getting the third person character here. I'm just not getting the take damage. So assuming this is being called and this is being called, I'm just not, oh yeah, I missed this. I actually missed this on when I was trying this out. So the thing is, if it's false, means I didn't die, but I still want to print the string. So that's why it's not showing, I think. So yeah, now I hit him, takes 10 of damage, and his health keeps dropping as I hit him. And when it reaches 0, it's 0 basically. And I could even go here and see, let's say we add a new pin and we do dead question mark and add a pin and do died, get died. It will convert it and this will tell me whether it is dead or not. So dead false, dead false, dead false, dead true. So there you go. Simple health component. Well, now we can extend this with reset damage if you want, in case you want to do respawns and just reset the damage back to the max health, for instance, and also reset the died state. Basically, you could extend this with all the responsibility regarding an health component. And the cool thing about this being a component is that I can actually create a new blueprint class. Let's create an actor and I'm going to call it BP cube. So a simple dumb cube. Let's just add a static mesh there and assign a cube. So that's that, simple. And now I just assign the health component as well. And I say, oh yeah, there's one thing I could do as well here, which is pretty cool. I can go to the health component and I can mark the max health as exposed, as public basically. And this means that I can, when putting this blueprint on the map, let's say I put this cube here, I can go to the instance. Let's do health. Sorry, I need to choose the health component here. I can say that this component in particular has 5,000 health, and this is this instance in particular. So without doing anything to the component, to the actor other than adding the component, I can just say that is, oh, this is not working. Oh, wait, I missed something here. So max health is 100, but I can, since it is exposed, in principle I could just specify this guy as 5,000. And yeah, max health, but I missed something, which is I will probably want this on the event begin play. What I want to do is set current health. let's set the current health to the max health, just so it starts with the maximum health when the game starts. So if I do this now and I point to the cube, it should say, yeah, 5,000, and basically keeps dropping, basically. And this guy drops until it dies really fast. So that's it, guys. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you want other types of tutorials. I have a bunch of them planned out. This was just the first one. I plan to make them like really short, so they're easy to read and they're easy to follow. So that's it. Have fun, happy coding, and happy gaming.